Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We are joined by none other than Hall of Fame fighter and promoter Oscar De La Hoya, who is getting ready to kick off the year with a bang with
Yeah,
Ryan Garcia and Luke Campbell, January 2nd in Dallas on the Zone. And Oscar, this is going to be Ryan Garcia's first big test that we've seen in his career. And it's going to come against a former Olympian gold medalist, someone who just got out of a fight with Vasily Lomachenko.
yeah.
This is a big caliber of fighter for Ryan. Why do you believe Ryan is ready for this test right now?
I strongly feel Ryan has been ready for this fight. For months now. I mean, he's ready to step it up. He's ready to take his career to a new level. And look, as a promoter and as an ex-fighter, I know exactly what fights Ryan needs in order to that level to get that experience. And yes, this is a dangerous fight. This is a bold move in our part, and for Ryan taking this fight. But these are the types of fights that make you great. And this is the beginning for Ryan Garcia. I think that if he beats an Olympic gold medalist, a guy who went in there with Lomachenko and Linares, I think that sky literally will be the limit for Ryan. He's just sold out the arena in Dallas. Yes, there's a 25% capacity, but he sold it out, and so January 2nd will be kind of like his coming out party.
Right. And I felt like he kind of had that earlier this year on Valentine's Day when he knocked out Fonseca in the first round, back to back first round knockouts. He's really gaining a lot of momentum. His social media keeps blowing up even more, as if it was possible at that point. But why do you consider Ryan's ceiling so high? Is he the best prospect you've ever promoted?
When I first contacted Ryan early on in his career, I think he had like 2-3 fights. I actually contacted him through social media. I slipped in a DM on his account, and I told him, look, I want to meet you, and I feel that you have the potential, and so I knew firsthand, and this is instinct from a fighter. I just knew firsthand that he had something special, and obviously I wasn't wrong. I feel that with his social media presence, yes, it's one thing, but what people sometimes don't tend to see is that his abilities inside the ring are almost flawless. Yes, he's not the perfect mold of a fighter. He's not your typical, of Salvador Sanchez or Oscar De La Hoya, but I believe he's even more special than I believe that we haven't seen the best of Ryan Garcia, and I believe this fight will bring it out in him.
Hmm. So I guess to go back on my question, is he the best prospect you've ever promoted?
No, I to answer your question, yes, he is. Yes, he is. And we've promoted a lot of young prospects, and we do have a lot of young prospects currently. Um, Ryan Garcia has that overall package. Oh, and if handled correctly by the people around him, I believe that Ryan will go very, very far.
Yeah, he definitely has a big team around him. A lot of at the age of 22, he's kind of created the business structure to really propel himself moving forward. He gets a lot of opportunities, as we've seen in 2020, out of the ring.
Right.
His marketability continues to grow. Uh, Personally, for you, Oscar, now that Canelo is out of the picture, do you consider Ryan the face of Golden Boy at this moment?
Well, I literally after this fight, I will consider Ryan the face of boxing, not just the face of Golden Boy. We have many young prospects like Virgil Ortiz and Jojo Diaz, Jaime Munguia, who's a world champion as well. So our list of prospects and champions obviously keeps growing, keeps changing. Not having Canelo Alvarez on our roster, is something that we can live with and move on. But Ryan has the opportunity to be the biggest star in boxing, that can surpass whatever Canelo has accomplished. So I'm definitely looking forward to this fun ride along with him.
I'm sure you're licking your lips considering the fact that Ryan is at 135 and you have all these options to make these big super fights at such a young age. Teofimo Lopez, Vasily Lomachenko, Gervonta Davis, Devin,
Right.
the list goes on. You got Shakur Stevenson if he wants to move up a division. How do you want to navigate the next 12 months for Ryan after he gets by with a fight with Luke Campbell? What do you see for Ryan's future immediately?
Obviously, if he gets past, and he has to get past Luke Campbell, and it depends how he gets Luke Campbell. There's a lot of variables that come into play, but I wouldn't mind seeing a Tank Davis fight. I love that fight for his next fight. Tank Davis is an amazing fighter, and I think that Ryan's style with Tank's style would create a huge, wonderful event for the sport. So because both guys cross over, both guys can fight. They're at a crossroads right now in their young careers. It would be an incredible event. I wouldn't mind doing that fight.
Oscar, at the end of the day, do you think that's what boxing is missing? The fact that these fights are not happening 5, 6, 7 years too soon. Here, the whole boxing public is begging for a Crawford Spence fight when you have two 22, 23-year-olds who can be fighting right now. Do you think boxing needs more of that in 2021?
Absolutely. Look, boxing has become more of a business, including for the fighter. Instead of taking it as glory, as trying to become the very best inside the ring. The business side of boxing has kind of like messed with fighters' heads. It's polluted their head. They think that, my gosh, I have to try and be smart here and get the most money possible now, and then maybe I'll make the fight. No, make the fight, and then the money will come. That's just the way it works. But look, a lot of fighters, they have so many people in their ears nowadays. They have so many people talking in their ears. Everybody thinks they're an expert. And one thing about Ryan is that he loves boxing. He loves training, and he understands, yes, the business, but at the same time, he wants to become great, and it makes my job easier.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the comparisons between you and Ryan per se, at the age of 22, you're already a world champion, beating guys like Rafael Ruales and Hanero Hernandez, and by 23, you were beating Julio Cesar Chavez. So Ryan is in a very interesting situation where he could really follow your footsteps and history that you set yourself to. And at the end of the day, a fighter's legacy has a lot to do with his dance partners. So hopefully he gets those legacy defining fights for him.
Yeah.
Now, you talk about fighters having a lot of voices in their ears and such. Of course, Ryan trains with Eddie Reynoso and Canelo. Are you worried at all that this new relationship dynamic and, I guess, love triangle might be difficult to navigate moving forward, considering where Canelo is in his career?
Well, I mean, it is. I do worry. Obviously, I do worry. Absolutely. I still, to this day, don't know what exactly I did wrong in the career. We build him to be the biggest star in boxing, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I think Ryan, he knows what he wants, and we're on the same page. And that's why I feel that it can be, this fight here with Campbell can be a breakthrough fight for him, you know, because like you mentioned, when I was 23, I fought Chavez and all these big names. Well, Ryan has the opportunity to fight the Haneys, the Teofimo Stevens, all those guys this year and next year. So it's a matter of keeping a close relationship with Ryan, giving him advice, because the same thing that he's going through now, I went through as well. I had all those whispers in my ear as well. So I know exactly what they're telling him. I know exactly what he's going through, and it's just a matter of having a nice close relationship with Ryan.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of Canelo, 2020 has been a hard year for all of us in many different ways. For you, it was difficult even more because of the lawsuit you had to deal with. How
Right.
hard have the last few months been for you, just having to go through that and rebuilding and moving on and now revitalizing the company again?
Yeah, I mean, look, we've been through it a couple of times in the past. Um, when we lost all those fighters to Al Heyman, when he took the fighters to PBC, the fighters that we built, like Deontay Wilder and Adrian Broner and all these guys. So I've been in this position, and it doesn't worry me whatsoever. Obviously, with this pandemic was devastating to everyone across the globe. So it was different circumstances than what it was before in the Al Heyman situation. But I just feel like I'm on the same boat with everybody. We have to weather the storm. We have to come back stronger. We have to come back smarter. We have to make these big fights. And if I was Crawford's promoter, if I was the promoter of all these 47 pounders, I would make these fights happen. Just make them happen. We can figure out the economics. There's money to be spread to everyone. I mean, let's just make these fights happen. It can happen. Bob Arum did a great job working with Al Heyman, with the Gypsy King and Deontay Wilder. That fight was a wonderful event. So it can happen. Let's just make these fights happen. So I'm hoping that my New Year's resolution is for all promoters to work together and grow the sport.
I think that's a welcome development for the entire sport, for the fans who are obviously committed to the product. And Oscar, since we're talking about these big time fights, one of the biggest news items over the last 6 months was when you declared that you'd be returning to fight as well too, and coming out of retirement. How far along are you in your comeback right now? And is one of your New Year's resolutions in 2021 to be fighting?
Well, look, I've been now working out for like the last 6 months. I feel amazing. I'm at about 168 right now, walking around, not even trying to with a diet or anything like that. I can come down to 154, I believe. I've been talking to well, first of all, Mike Tyson inspired me. That's for sure. Mike Tyson, what he did in that exhibition fight with Roy Jones really, really inspired me. I really look up to him. And so I got a hold of my good friend Ryan Kavanaugh with Triller, and we've been talking. So it'll be very interesting to see what's gonna transpire in the next few days. But yeah, the inspiration that Mike Tyson gave me was I'm not looking past it. I think it motivated me to maybe do one more.
Wow. So when you say the next few days, are we expecting an announcement pretty soon?
Could be, yes.
Wow. So, and you said that you would see yourself coming at anywhere between 154 to 168. I'm sure you would do a catch weight if you would need to. But
if I would, it would be between 154 and 160. I can't go above 160.
uh-huh. Well, speaking of 160, the guy at 160, the middleweight king over the last decade, Gennady Golovkin, he had some very choice words for you after you said you would consider fighting him. Is that really a fight that you would want to take, considering the age difference? It would be about what, 9 years at this point,
I think it's 9 years, but look,
which is
I
the same between him and Canelo, by the way. On
I
the
know I'm
side.
obviously a third fight with Canelo and Golovkin. You know, I would have made that fight. I would have made that fight yesterday, if I had the opportunity. Obviously, Golovkin's getting a little older, and he's still Golovkin. He still can punch hard. He's still, but I don't think he can be. I don't think he can beat Canelo anymore. I think Canelo is a step ahead of him now. Um, but Golovkin's a very dangerous guy, and you know the reason why I threw his name out there is because I always fought the very best in my career, and you know this would be no exception. If I'm gonna make a comeback, it's gonna be against the very best.
Right. And, all credit to you, Oscar, for still being gracious with your comments to Canelo. I'm sure it's a tough situation, but
Yeah,
we saw you on social media wishing him good luck. And, at the end of the day, I'm sure your paths will cross again in the future, just as it has with Bob Arum in your career. So hopefully you guys can bring it back together and make fights again, maybe with the Golden Boy fighter and Jaime Munguia in the future.
I have no doubt. I have no doubt that our paths will cross again, and we'll be promoting Canelo very soon.
Absolutely, Oscar. Well, thank you very much. Again, Ryan Garcia, January 2nd against Luke Campbell on DAZN from Dallas, Texas. A big step up for boxing's next biggest star who wants to etch his legacy with his first big win in his career. Oscar, thank you very much. We
All right.
appreciate it, and safe travels to you in Texas.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Absolutely. Bye-bye.